in the concrete jungle, nowhere to hide. On every corner, Big Brother's eyes. Hear the sound of war all through the streets. See the face of fear on everyone you meet. They come on the streets, they speak their lies. We are the people, they won't take us alive.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages. It's that time once again. Mild's Culture Plate. It's 6 p.m. Central, March 16th, 2024. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and we have an interesting show for you folks today. So, as always, I don't know, how loud was that? Was that too loud for you folks? I'm sorry. As always for you folks, I'm gonna bring this. See, we got Cool Frog in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome, brother. Gonna go ahead and pour myself some whiskey today. I will be drinking Redbreast 12-year single pot still Irish whiskey. Drinking the Irish whiskey because tomorrow is St. Patty's Day, the holiday of my people. Holiday of my people. So cheers and welcome, brother. And you two can get a shout out and a toast in the chat. If you come in, say hello, and join the conversation. We don't have a real heady show today. We don't have a real philosophical show today. I'll be getting into a few things that might cause me to rant. But I've decided to make this episode a little light on the news, right? So let me just give a little rundown. We've had this TikTok bill pass the House. Allegedly, the president 9 months ago said he would, or over a year ago said he would sign it if Congress decided to pass a TikTok ban. We've had the House pass it. It still needs to go through the Senate, and then of course we'll see what Joe Biden does. We will have one little clip that we'll show here in just a few minutes regarding that. But let's see. In Georgia, we had the Fannie Willis, we call it disqualification hearing wrap up. The judge down there has decided that either she's got to lose her job or her boyfriend does. And she threw Nathan Wade under the bus. Well, I guess Nathan Wade threw himself on the sword and announced he would be stepping down from the role of special prosecutor so that his girl could keep her job and they could keep going on fancy trips with government money. Let's see, what else was there in the news? There've been quite a few news stories, and I intended to like break them all down because Thursday was a real interesting day. I did my special here on shame, and at that point in time, all of these news stories had just kind of started rolling in, and I thought there would be enough content to really hit the news hard, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized like those few news stories I just mentioned, like there's not a whole lot of depth to them. I mean, obviously, depending on whether you're for censorship or not, whether you think the TikTok thing is a government issue or not, uh, whether you think the Fannie Willis thing really is going to affect Donald Trump in the long term and the presidential election in the long term, you know, neither here nor there. Really, there's not a whole lot to say about it that hasn't already been said. Those two topics have been covered by a lot of different channels. Oh yeah, the other news story: Don Lemon versus Elon Musk. Don Lemon whining that Elon Musk would not pay for his new show. You know, you can host it on X, but I'm not going to pay you extra for it. And it was getting kind of close to crunch time for the show, and I hopped onto Twitter and I noticed there was this, I guess, 2 hour interview between Michael Knowles and Pearl Davis. And we're not going to watch that. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but there were two particular clips that they have since reposted and have kind of gone a little viral. And I do have some deep thoughts about the takes that are being had in those. And so we'll get into that. And then we have just a bunch of viral videos. As I was kind of thinking about the whole Pearl Davis and Michael Knowles paradigm there, the things they were talking about, I was kind of just randomly scrolling through Twitter, and I noticed there were like a bunch of just shitty viral videos, but they had an interesting topic. And it's kind of like I hit this weird algorithm where I was getting all kinds of neat little viral stuff that I figured I would just go ahead and do a little rundown of quite a few of these. So, you know, we'll kind of do that. And then, of course, as we do every Saturday, we'll do Love Does Admonish. We have a good one. What I'm hoping is a good one today. We'll see. We'll see. But first, let's look into this chick and the things she's aggravated with men about.
What luxury it must be to leave your house and not feel uncomfortable 9 times out of 10. Just walk in, got on this little long sleeve, long skirt. This man's just like, I'm just minding my business. He's like, hi. I just ignore him. I'm like, he's like, I love you. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep walking. Just mind.
Okay. Oh, I have two thoughts about this, and we'll get into it.
My business. I'm walking. Gets into his car, pulls up next to me, starts screaming at me. I love you. Why aren't you saying anything back to me? Why don't you want to? I don't even know what he was saying. He was screaming at me. I just want to fucking exist. Like, that's just why, as women, can we not just leave the house and just live our fucking lives and not have to be yelled at by men? Oh my God, it pisses me the fuck off. Nothing makes me madder. Like, I want to punch that guy in the face. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm in a windstorm.
Okay, so I'm of two thoughts about it. One, she's not entirely wrong. You know, when you're walking down the street, when you're going on about your day, when you have somewhere to be, here, I'm going to mute this real quick because I'm going to adjust my microphone. I'm going to put it on my box. Okay, maybe that's a little better. Hey, we got Salty Sand in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome, brother. He thinks that story's made up. I think it's possible it's made up, and I kind of sympathize with her a little bit. I mean, she's not entirely wrong. I think the problem is she thinks this is a men and women thing, right? Just because allegedly the guy said I love you and was looking for romantic attention, so to speak, that this is a men and women thing. Look, every time I'm out in the hood, right, which is kind of frequent, I travel to the city for work and for entertainment. Every single time, like, there's crazy people, right? There's legitimate crazy people. I talked a lot on my last stream, the shame stream. I kind of mentioned the homeless problem, and yeah, you have literally mentally ill people who will just start yelling at people on the street. And what do? This woman assumes it's because she's pretty. It could just be because the gentleman who was yelling at her was mentally ill. That's the entertainment. Yeah. It can be. It definitely can be sometimes. But all too often, these people are on drugs. Either they're on drugs or they have serious mental handicaps. And they're not in any kind of real reality. Now, granted, she said the guy was in a car, so maybe there's that. But the guy could also be high, drunk. You don't know. But it's not him being a male that makes it dangerous for her. And again, I hate to say it, but there's a difference between blame and responsibility, and you are responsible for your own safety, lady. Okay, so we had this clip from the Whatever podcast that went viral. And once again, I'm not a big fan of the Whatever podcast, but something happened. There was kind of a follow up to this that made it interesting. Okay, so this went viral this week.
I didn't.
Yeah, I did have one question for you, if you don't mind. Just the last one. How would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this morning?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
How would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this morning?
How I feel right now because I didn't eat breakfast this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I did have one question.
Okay, so I didn't get this. I did not get this when I first saw it. And it really took like 5 or 6 watches before I'm like, okay, well, yeah, but even then, it's like you're just calling her dumb. Like there's no payoff. But then I guess there's this other clip from the Whatever podcast that has the same dude asking the same question to a different woman. Now check this out.
Just curious on this, just back to you real quick. How would you feel if you hadn't eaten breakfast this morning?
For me?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I had breakfast.
Okay, I thought you did. Thank you.
Was that a job?
Andrew, do you want to explain that really quick?
Yeah, so this question is more of a meme. It doesn't really have any scientific foundation at all, but it is kind of funny. If you ask a person, how would they feel if they hadn't had breakfast this morning? What you're doing is you're engaging in a hypothetical, and you're trying to examine what they think they would feel like had they not eaten breakfast. But
Bill Dozer 74 in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome, brother. Okay, sorry about that. I interrupted the most important part of the video. Okay, so here we go.
would feel like had they not eaten breakfast. But there's many people who can't engage in hypotheticals, and so they just respond with, but I did have breakfast this morning. And so that's the point of the question.
Interesting.
So, I guess there's a certain segment of our population that lack like some part of the brain that's able to take imagination into a hypothetical. And oftentimes it's these thought type women, these over sexualized get minds type of women. And I the more I thought about it, the more I found that fascinating, because I'm a person who heavily uses hypotheticals whenever I'm talking to anyone. We always try to use simile and metaphor to relate to people. And I ultimately I think it's definitely a trait of selfishness when you're unable to use imagination and relate to other people because you don't need to. Cool Frog says, oh yeah. Bill Dozer says, I can think of two reasons why this clip's more popular. Cool Fred said two very large reasons. Yes. Yes, gentlemen, here, let me go back. Go back. Yeah. Well, let's just watch the freeze frame for just a minute and then I'll finish my rant with with better visuals on the screen here. Um Whether so obviously the first video, the lady was genuinely confused, and I think, he didn't hear her properly. And so she felt the need to reiterate that she hadn't eaten breakfast. And, it was more about being right than understanding the question. And at no point did she ever catch on and just say, well, that's how I feel. She was like, I feel how I feel because I didn't eat breakfast. But she never actually said how she felt, which I initially thought that was the point of the video until I saw this other clip. That she just couldn't catch on and just say how she felt. It to me was a case study in how men and women communicate. Um, Men try to get direct and to the point, and women try to understand why. All right, let me go ahead and bring this back down. We've seen enough of this chick's chest. If there could be such a thing. Okay, now where was the? Oh, okay. So, folks, have you been seeing this viral Chick-fil-A girl? There's a plot twist. There's a plot twist with the viral Chick-fil-A girl. I just figured I'd let y'all know. So yeah, she's doing this, right? And boom. So I guess, she cleans up nicely. All right. Enough of that. Wow. Chat is scrolling fast. Y'all are good. Y'all are good. So again, this, like I said, this is going to be a little bit just of a viral video roundup stream, bouncing back and forth from clip to clip. But this is okay. So now this one here, this is the point of the title of the video, and this is going to require some deep thought here. This is from @womenbeingawful on X, and this chick has an opinion on the female version of the friend zone here. Hey, we got Sangalan86 over on Rumble. Welcome, brother. Cheers. Good seeing you. Carrot Top has IIDS. All right. All right, so let's hear what this chick has to say about the friend zone and the female equivalent, and I'll give a little deeper thought here in a moment. Okay, now wait a minute. I gotta stop that right there. I gotta restart it, and I gotta tear this apart piece by piece here. Okay, so okay, it's not fuck zoned, right? You don't understand. It's like some women just don't understand how to pick up on context. And there's the red pill community who would call these kind of guys beta orbiters, right? Women think these men want to be their friends, but they're literally just beta orbiters. Okay, now wait a minute. A boy stops talking to us suddenly after he gets a girlfriend. Okay, that has nothing to do with your vagina and everything to do with the fact that that girl is going to be jealous, just like you would be if your boyfriend was talking to another blonde. that has nothing to do with the fuck zone. Oh shit. I'm not even displaying this on the screen. The whiskey's already getting to me, folks. We got great liquor in the chat. Cheers and welcome. Okay, yeah, so I guess I got to start this whole fucking thing over now. Which means I'll go over my hour by a few minutes.
Guys
I
get
wasted
friend
your damn time.
zoned, but girls get fuck zoned.
Okay, so
Guys
she says
get
guys
friend
get friend
zoned,
zone,
but girls get fuck zoned.
girls get fuck zone. So you kind of already heard my rant on
A
that.
boy stops talking to us suddenly after he gets a girlfriend, or starts ghosting us after we reject his first move.
Okay, got to stop that right there. Starts ghosting us after we reject his first move. Well, if it's his first move, y'all haven't known each other that long. You haven't known each other long enough to be actual friends. If that's his first move, now granted, maybe I guess there are some incels out there that beta orbit for like 2 years before making a first move. So perhaps it's like that, but that's not the type of guy you want to be your friend anyway. So what's the loss? What's the problem here? Like, live, laugh, love, learn, and move the fuck on.
A friendship that we valued, we thought mattered, if only just a little to him.
Salty Saiyan says she's in the closet, red flag. Yeah. Oh, literally in the closet. Okay. I thought figuratively in the closet, but then I look back at my screen and I see, yeah, she's got coats around her head. What the hell? Why is she posting a TikTok from the damn closet? That's crazy. All right.
Turned out not to matter at all.
So she thinks this friendship mattered to her. Something triggered this rant, right? And it was a guy who she didn't want to fuck, but she really wanted to be a friend to, which, let's face it, what does that friendship mean? That means she wanted to unload all of her emotional baggage about the guys she did want to fuck and the other women who won't fuck him, and essentially make him do the emotion. And I hate this term, but emotional labor for her. Yeah. And then ultimately he finally pieced the fuck out when he realized he couldn't crack those panties.
But in the end, we're the bad guys. We're the ones who lead the good guys on. Of course, we should just expect that's what you always want.
Good guys, huh? Look. I can't do it. I can't do it with a straight face.
We should just expect that friendship is never as valuable as a twist of our hand.
Yes. Yes. Legitimately, yes. Friendship is never as valuable as a twist of our hand. Women's hobbies and interests, the feminine, so to speak, makeup, drama, reality television, Taylor Swift, things like that, aren't very appealing to the masculine. The drama you have with other women isn't really that appealing to the masculine. And I've kind of gone into, when men and women fight, women just want to be heard, men want to solve the problem. And oftentimes that creates some conflict because the woman doesn't feel heard. Cool Frog says, yeah, I see a haircut and nose piercing in the near future. Yeah, most likely. And probably dyeing it pink or some sort of pastel color. If you're stuck in the fuck zone, it means he doesn't see you as being worthy of anything else other than your box. Yes, Salty. Yes, yes. But ultimately, I guess I have to disagree a little bit, because for a guy, the friend zone, when a woman is in the friend zone, you almost have this thing like, okay, Well, why aren't we fucking? We're single. I'm single. You're single. Why aren't we fucking? Well, usually it means we're not compatible. And why aren't we compatible? There has to be a reason. And if that reason is big enough, then yeah, you shouldn't be fucking friends. Now most of the time, if you're not fucking, that just means one of you has a significant other, and that's fine. You know, people are you establish boundaries, and then over time, you begin to see that person more as family, off limits, icky, don't put it in the sticky kind of person. But ultimately, you know, yeah, your friendship's not valuable because we as men, like, we can make friends with a guy who can literally help us move an entire house. We can make friends with a guy who can help us change our oil, help us find, you know, a good realtor. You know, guys solve problems. And so we as guys, if we wanted just a casual person to talk to and to explore the philosophies of the world and the news events of the day, we would rather talk excuse me. Yeah, let me try clearing my throat here. All right. Nice big green loogie in the trash can. All right. No, it's probably not green. But anyway, uh what we want from ladies is someone with a gentle, sunny disposition. We want somebody who will give us the optimism that the realist men in our lives won't give us. And eventually, if you fulfill that role enough, then yes, then the attraction starts. And unfortunately, you know, I'm not one of those that believes the friend zone doesn't exist. The friend zone definitely does exist. But all too often, the friend zone is just code for beta fucking orbiter, there to solve your problems and be a backup in case your alpha Chad fucking boyfriend doesn't work out. A way to make your alpha Chad fucking boyfriend jealous, and a way to make your alpha fucking Chad boyfriend have a little bit of, you know, what the red pill would call dread game. I try not to get too deep into the red pill shit very often because I'm in a long-term relationship. I don't fully believe in those philosophies, but they bring up good points about certain things, and I hate to use their terminology because I think there's more important ways to look at it than call it a beta orbiter or uh, dread game. But women do this stuff too. Women want to make their boyfriend jealous, so they keep a lot of men around. This is what red pillars refer to as hypergamy, and I'm sorry about that. Let me just punch my microphone. Wow, that Irish whiskey's really hitting me hard today. Wow. Wow. I'm a little drunk already in the stream. Oh, sorry folks. Okay, so let's finish the rest of her rant.
They got friend zoned. They only lost another girl, another rejection. But we lost a friend, someone we thought was worth more.
No, you didn't. You never had a friend. You never had a friend. You had a beta orbiter who was hanging on your every word. You used and abused them. You used them as an emotional trash can. You never had a friend. If you had a friend, you would have understood what they needed from you. You would have understood that it's not a sex thing, it's not a relationship thing. It's a genuine emotional connection thing, which eventually could lead a little further. Anyway, we got Bulldozer saying, got some Woodford Reserve for sipping. All right, cool. All right.
We lost a friend. Guys,
Okay, so that's the end of that. Wow. Okay, let me go ahead and remove that. I'm a little drunk, folks. I have to apologize. This is going to be kind of crazy. This is going to be kind of a crazy show because I don't know why I'm so drunk. Okay, let's do this, dude. Okay, so every once in a while on this show, I like to go over on what is that? Wall Street Silver on Twitter and get these millennials bitching about the economy and determine what's wrong with their rant. Okay, let's share this tab. Add to stage. Let's see what this guy's talking about here.
Insane. There are people insane.
It's absolutely
there are people
insane.
working 2 jobs just to survive in this economy. They're working 2 jobs and they're still living paycheck to paycheck and struggling.
Okay, well, there's been lots of people working 2 jobs for all of throughout American history. So you need to prey on my sympathy a little more, dude.
And these are the people that went to college. These are the people that did exactly what they're supposed to do. Like, it does not work anymore. Like, everybody sits there and all the older generations sit there and they say, work harder, work harder. It's like, how hard the fuck do you want us to work?
Okay. Here we go. So you went to college, or somebody went to college. Somebody you know went to college, and they didn't get out of it what they thought they would get out of it. Many such cases. This is part of the problem with the current education system, right? But this guy, he goes further and says, how much harder do you want us to work? Well, I think that's the grift, isn't it? It's not how hard you work. It's not how many jobs you work. It's what does it take to make it work? And I kind of always preach this, that sometimes it literally takes roommates. It literally takes togetherness. And maybe I need to do a whole stream on this. Maybe I need to do a Patriot Philosopher stream on this. But, throughout our culture, communities banded together to help each other out. And you would have families that would grow and become large, and you would have a lot of people living under one roof, and you had very large homes. And as our economy continues to transfer, they continue to bulldoze all those large homes, those big 3-4 bedroom homes, and build fucking condos. The reason you can't make it is you're one of those people that's trying to live on your own in a condo instead of sharing some of that struggle with someone else. And I get it. It's hard to live with other people. It's extremely hard to live with other people. Wow. Sorry, just reading the chat. I see all in the chat. Cheer, everybody seems to be having almost as much fun as me in the chat. Talking about gummies and pills and alcohols. Wait, Salty saying, what the hell? I smoke my alcohol now. I'm hoping you mean like one of those steam smokers that you put the glass over and then you pour the. I'm hoping that's what you're talking about. Sorry, I am a little drunk, folks. I can't help it. You had a little freaking bit
You had
easier
it
than us.
freaking a little bit easier than us. You were able to work a normal job. You were able to live that American dream and afford the house and pay it off. And now you guys sit there and say, well, I have a house. You were 50-something years old. And when you were buying that house,
Okay,
it was
okay. But here's the rub, right? Your grandpa did that by fucking working assembly lines and not getting a piss break. your dad did that by operating heavy machinery, not fucking going to college for a fucking feminist dance theory degree and then getting an income off of TikTok. You know, the quality of job has really went down. You know, the social media managers, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let me walk that back just a minute, because there still are definitely a lot of hard and heavy jobs out there, and a lot of people working those jobs that are finding it harder and harder. But this guy's talking about the generation gap. When you're talking about the generation gap, you're definitely talking about people who grew up in a time during the Industrial Revolution when our economy was expanding, uh, and when innovations hadn't quite reached the point they are now, where these jobs have become so much easier. I have the luxury to tell my boss that I don't feel safe doing a certain task. You know, a few generations ago, you'd just risk your damn life.
So much cheaper, and the wages matched the pricing of housing and pretty much everything. Now the price that we get for a wage doesn't match what we need to spend. We're spending 2 to 3 times more than you did.
Okay, but you're yelling at the boomers and the Gen Xers instead of the bankers. And this is half the fucking problem with this country right now. We blame each other, and now I'm yelling at this guy instead of yelling at the bankers. I get that. Makes me a little bit of a hypocrite. But ultimately, I ramble about the banks all the time on this show. You folks know that. I mean, ultimately, at some point, we got to just realize, yeah, it's the Federal Reserve. It's not the boomers. It's not the millennials. It's not the Gen Xers. It's not the Gen Zers. It's the fucking Federal Reserve. It's the politicians. It's the corporations.
On anything. That is fucking scary. And you guys are telling us to work harder. How many jobs are we supposed to work? 3?
Again, how many jobs are you supposed to work? Well, no, it's you're supposed to have roommates and friends and a wife. But again, women want to friend zone you, so you know, cheers to that. Wow, okay, I gotta look at this again here. This is only 40% alcohol by volume. Why am I feeling it this hard? What the fuck? I feel like a lightweight. All right, let's bring this down. Okay, we're at 636. Okay. So I guess there's been this controversy this week about this individual. Okay. Da. So I want your all's opinion, because okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Great Liquor says he is wrong. It wasn't cheap to purchase a home in my 20s when wages were shit. Many such cases, yeah. Yeah, my 20s, yeah, I had to live in a fucking basement apartment with 2 other dudes who would rather smoke weed than pay their rent. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. Okay, so back to the whatever podcast real quick, because we had this controversy regarding this content creator Nala who had an OnlyFans, and so we got this here, this clip.
Wait, your biggest fantasy is
Not
you
even
cheating.
my biggest. It's like one of my fantasies.
Okay, so she went from bragging about cheating on guys being her fantasy and having an OnlyFans to now she's been saved, folks. She has been saved. So this is the new controversy, right?
My God did not fail. That's my story, my testimony.
Wait, your
Okay, so I'm a big redemption guy. I believe strongly in redemption. And so let's watch a couple more videos. Oh, this one's like 5 fucking minutes. Fuck that. Okay, we'll do this. We'll check this one out. So this is her as well. What it feels like deleting my OnlyFans, and it's basically, yeah, bird sounds and smiles. Okay. But Salty says now everybody that goes in that pool is definitely going to get AIDS too, definitely herpes. Yeah, that's kind of it's look, I'm a big redemption arc kind of person, right? I'd like to think there's very few things that you can do that warrant ostracization to the point of no redemption whatsoever. No potential for reformation. You know, we're supposed to have this prison justice system that allows you to commit crimes, be punished, recognize your crimes were wrong, or that at least recognize your crimes carry consequences, and being able to better yourself from there and re-enter society as a reformed person. But this, it's sexuality is kind of a different beast, right? I mean, I guess the moral of the story that I just told was there's still consequences. You know, you can't just murder a bunch of people and then go to court and be like, "I'm really sorry, judge. I didn't mean to." There will still be consequences of your actions, and you have to live with those consequences even if you are genuinely sorry and genuinely didn't mean to do those things. You still have to face the consequences. You didn't know what you were doing, or felt like you were misguided, you still have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And yes, this thought, Salty Sand says, nobody I know that goes to prison is reformed. In fact, they come out hating the system even more and more criminal than when they went in. Yeah, many such cases. Many such cases. But, again, I addressed shame and dignity on my shame stream back on Thursday. And I think that applies here. I think ultimately some people have to face the consequences of their actions. They genuinely feel shame deep down and are willing to change. But yeah, the majority of people, you know, you get into those situations by being selfish, by lacking empathy, by hate, and then the punishment almost feels like anger, and so you respond with anger and you double down on the lack of empathy, lack of dignity, and hate. And so yeah, it's many such cases. So at the same time, I wish this woman well. And I guess there was another video where part of the reason she's doing this is she met a man who believes in Christ and has fallen in love. Right? She didn't come to this decision independently through her OnlyFans bank account, right? She didn't come to this decision herself. She kind of found a man who found God and woke her up and realized she was doing it wrong. And so, your gut feeling when you first see these videos is like, well, good luck finding a man who will accept your past, but apparently she already did. But that doesn't mean her past is not going to continue to haunt her. And hopefully she can turn it into a positive. Maybe she can become a valid spokesperson. Salty Sands really got some opinions in the chat. She said she was going to do this and that she's not going to stop. God empowered her to be a whore, she said, straight out blasphemy. Then what a effing idiot. I don't even feel sorry for what's going to happen to that poor bastard. Yeah. Ultimately, he's going to get his heart broke. and this is kind of similar to what I was saying about the prison thing. When you're a woman who's used to drama and attention and what's the other word? A lot of relationships fail because the woman cheats because she's quote unquote bored. And when you've been a hoe, being able to then settle down and accept the whole picket fence kind of middle class dream, a lot of these hoes wind up getting bored with that and looking for something deeper. Anyway, all right. Well, so that we did the viral videos. I'm actually not going to play the clip, the TikTok clip. That just go. It's Tucker Carlson's pinned tweet right now. It's Dan Crenshaw being confronted about his vote. But let's get into this Pearly Things versus Michael Knowles. Hang on. Actually, I think I clicked the wrong one. Okay, no. We'll do them in this order. All right, check this out. All right, so we got Pearly Things and Michael Knowles sitting down for an interview. It's a 2-hour interview, but we're going to play just a couple clips because they are discussing marriage and pregnancy in these two clips. And, these are two topics I feel very strongly about. And I'm not going to lie, I agree with Pearly in both of these clips. Yeah, fuck Crenshaw. Hate him after he went after SEAL teams. Yeah, the guy deserves. Okay, we're not going to go there. Sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up. Disavow Facebook. I disavow that. Yeah, I disavow. Do not do that. Thank you. Or YouTube rather. I disavow that. Thank you. All right. Pearly Things. Here we go.
I'll give one prescription, actually.
Okay.
I'll give one,
All
just
right.
one.
All right.
If you get married, get a prenup.
No, you can't get a prenup.
What? This motherfucker didn't just say you can't get a prenup. Really? In 2024, don't get a fucking prenup. A male is telling people in 2024 not to get a prenuptial agreement before getting married. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I have now found the dumbest man on the internet. Wait, Salty Sand says you can't in my state. They got rid of them. It's bullshit. What the fuck? How the fuck can you not have a prenup? Now, granted, there are a lot of states that now are piercing them for bullshit reasons because they call them they just assume that they are always signed under coercion. But damn, dude. That's crazy. That is crazy. No wonder marriage is dead in our country. Anyway, so listen to this man's justification. Now, look, I try not to slam religion, right? I'm a believer in God. I'm a believer in the faith, and I'm a believer that Christians are more right than the seculars, right? Salty Satan says, yeah, it's Wisconsin, and it's the worst state for child support. Missouri would like to have a word, but I'm just kidding. No, Missouri's up there, but yeah, Wisconsin's pretty bad too on the child support. All right. So yeah, let's hear what Michael Knowles has to justify his position of no fucking prenup.
Because it invalidates the sacrament.
Really?
Yeah, a marriage is fully giving of yourself to the other person, no strings attached.
You don't
Prenup's
even
a big
believe in
string.
prenups?
Certainly not. The nearest I would come to a prenup would be, I call it the Michael Knowles prenup, which is, and I'm sort of cheekily suggesting it because I really object to prenups in all circumstances. But the Knowles prenup would be
I'm listening.
whoever initiates the divorce forfeits everything.
Okay, but who enforces that? This is the $1 million fucking question. That's all men are asking for. That's literally all men are asking for. But who enforces it? Who fucking enforces it? If you can't get her to sign it because it quote violates the sacrament and it violates your uber Catholic belief of giving everything of yourself to another person, What the fuck? Yeah, Cool Frog. Yeah, Minnesota's pretty bad as well. And I mean, in many such cases. This is the whole country almost. There are a couple states like Texas, but I think even Texas has closed some of their sanctuary loopholes. But this motherfucker, this Michael Knowles. So he's like, oh yeah, I like to float the idea of the Knowles prenup where you just, whoever initiates the divorce. Okay, but who enforces it? And this is the problem with the uber religious view of a wedding. A wedding is, I rant about this a lot on my show. The term marriage is a religious union. It's also a familial union, and it's also a government contract. You're taking those three separate, unique, almost foreign concepts from one another and bundling it and jumbling it into one thing. And I understand that if you're Catholic, like your relationship with the state, your relationship with your wife, and your relationship with your family, those are all part of your morality and your oath to God. I get that. And it would be nice they all just worked well together. But at some fucking level, you can't trust your government to have the same morality and faith in God to protect you and your wife. You just can't do it. You can't trust that shit.
Okay.
That's the nearest that I would come to a prenup.
Okay. Okay. So you kind of, but in 2024,
No,
you still wouldn't advise a guy gets a
30,
prenup?
24, 40, 24,
Wow.
10, 24.
Sorry,
Really.
I'm just shocked. Like you hear the stories I'm telling you.
Even
you know
as a
the state of
time
women
traveler,
today.
get married.
You
Just blindly get married
You know
to
the state
women.
of women today, and men still can't get prenups
Right.
to protect themselves.
Right. Because marriage in its nature, as you said, is a lifelong union of a man and a woman for the sake of begetting and educating children and for the mutual support of the
Okay, but then just ban divorce. You have to ban divorce then. As long as we have a government that will not recognize it as that kind of a union, you cannot trust that system. And this idea that you're going to travel through time 2024, 4024, 1024, and it's all just going to be the same. Well, yes, your oath is the same under God, but society's oath, maybe not.
spouses. So if you begin that institution by saying this might not be a lifelong union, you have fundamentally undermined the institution.
But literally going to the courthouse that issues divorces, to sign that marriage license, you've already begun by recognizing it under a government that recognizes divorces are possible, that recognizes that it's not a lifelong commitment. You've participated in that fucking system, Michael.
Before you've even begun.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's just the Catholic view.
So yeah, but if you don't get divorced, what does it matter if you don't do it?
Yeah, you don't get
And the thing is,
You're right.
but that's what I think we're going back to. You say what ought to be, and I say what is. Because
you're also saying what ought to be, and I'm also saying what is.
No, you're trying to
but
because
I'm not trying to do anything.
Even in this scenario, the Catholic Church, the divorce rate is 35%. It's not uncommon.
Again, though, so
you're saying don't get in the car, don't put on a seatbelt.
But the view that you're articulating is a kind of a liberal view, which is that we know what the Catholic Church teaches by just what the individuals might say at any given moment. That's not how it works. It works because there's a magisterium that's 2,000 years old that is articulated by a man who wears a funny hat.
But women are not acting in accordance to the Catholic teaching.
Exactly.
Yeah, many women don't. I'm just telling you what the Catholic view is.
Right. I understand, but I think Wow, I just didn't realize your views were that extreme on that. That's
You mean that I believe what every Catholic believed until like 5 minutes ago?
I
I guess it is.
yeah,
extreme these days.
I don't know how you would tell a guy that you love like not to protect himself in an institution where
say
in
pick a good woman,
2020
yeah.
in 2024. Well, I mean, there's women that are good women at 22 and
So I'm wondering, she mentioned the seatbelt thing. I'm wondering, does Michael Knowles wear a seatbelt? Does he get car insurance? Does he get health insurance? Does he just assume God will take care of it? And my faith in God, if God wants me to die, then who am I to put on a seatbelt?
then at 42 decide the man's an abusive monster.
How'd they come to decide that?
Usually a lot of times their friends get involved. A
Gotta
lot of
watch
times
those
they
friends.
start looking at the wrong media or
Gotta
they get
watch that media.
or they just get spiteful and decide to
Gotta
do it on
watch
their
how
own.
that spite begins. I don't deny that
Okay,
it happens,
but
but these things develop over time because of rot that can set into a marriage that a husband needs to be vigilant about, and a wife needs to be vigilant
so
about.
if a woman decides to leave, the husband is still responsible?
The man is the head of the household.
Okay, but again, human beings have free will, right? Eve ate the apple or the fruit. Eve ate the fruit of the tree. Like, yes, man's supposed to be the head of the household, but she has the free will to act and to disobey and to wreck the marriage and to join forces with a man's enemies to do so, meaning the government.
And bears the leadership responsibility, in my view. It's not in the liberal view or the feminist
But
view,
he can't
but in
lead
the
a chick
Christian.
that doesn't want to follow.
The Christian would say, yes, the man is the head of his household.
Okay, yeah. But I wouldn't say that's like typical in most religious marriages. I've heard kind of the same problems in the church and out of the church. So I wouldn't say that's the norm.
Yes, Cool Frog. Yeah, it takes both to make it work. And that's why, again, the free will I just mentioned kind of matters because you're making that oath to the government. You're making it to God, you're making it to each other. But at some point that's not enough. And now that the government's involved, then it's the government who doles out the punishment for breaking those marriage vows. And we all know that sometimes the government punishes the victim rather than the perpetrator, especially when it comes to family law. Okay. So there's that clip, and then there's one more clip that I think is even more fucking absurd. And also, I once again I agree with Pearly on this one as well. So let's go ahead and bring this up.
There should be mandatory DNA testing at birth.
No.
I don't know why you
because it's calling my wife a whore to do that. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Okay. Now, look, I follow Michael Knowles' wife on Twitter, and so I want to state that I'm not being serious when I say this. But Michael Knowles, what if your wife was a whore? I mean, you obviously, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm assuming you know your wife, and I'm assuming your wife is a loyal, conservative woman who would never do such a thing. But those are all assumptions, and as far as you know, that's an assumption as well. I mean, you know your wife, you know where she's at most of the time, but nothing is a given in life. Nothing is a perfect, knowable concept. All you have is trust, and look, I assume you trust your wife, and you would never call her a whore. But again, there's a difference between an oath to God, an oath to someone you love, and an oath to the government. And when you're talking about DNA tests, child support, when you're talking about a society's involvement in a child's life and society being able to determine who the parent of that child is. Now, look, I don't like the fact that once again, if we can get government out of it, maybe we can start to get there. But as long as she has the ability to go to the police department and say, oh, he was abusing our kid, and then sever your ability to be a parent, but then somehow maintain your responsibility for parenting, and she doesn't even have to prove the kid is yours, because that would be calling her a whore. Well, again, I go back. Well, okay, so you know she's not a whore. I know she's not a whore. We can agree she's not a whore. But does the government know she's not a whore before the government comes after you for child support? You know, you guys at the Daily Wire like to talk about Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. That's all a DNA test is. It's not calling your wife a whore. It's not you having mistrust. It's the government not having trust for any of us, because we don't trust the government. The government don't trust us. That's just an understanding that we should have with the government. Salty Sand says he's a cuck. She makes him watch. Cool Frog says he likes to watch. And then Salty saying, yeah, if we get the government out of it, it would help with a lot of things. But like I said, you really need to read that Project 2025. Okay, I'll look into it. 48% of kids aren't actually the fathers that's being forced to pay for them. Yeah, she's a whore. Well, I'm specifically talking about his wife. But yeah, most women, when we do have 40% of women, yeah, you have to always ask yourself, how much do I know my partner really? I have a lot of trust for my partner. But for all I know, while I'm at work every day, she could be banging the whole neighborhood and I wouldn't even know it. I mean, I highly doubt that that's a reality, and we have enough of a high trust environment. See my Thursday show, high trust environment, that I don't believe I have to worry about that. And we're the happiest we've ever been. So I really don't think I have to worry about that. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Salty Sand brings up a good point that brings me back to the previous friend zone video, right? The beta orbiters. This right here that Salty Sand's talking about. That's why women friend zone guys and keep them as beta orbiters. Okay, so let's hurry up through this, because I still have to do Love Does Admonish, and I have yet to cook dinner. I still have to fire up the grill even. So let's burn through this.
Why? Okay, so
Because
women,
the assumption of first of all, mandatory, good grief, but the premise of it is that my wife is sleeping around.
okay, so
I'm quite confident my wife is not sleeping around.
The woman feels icky.
Okay, so why don't we do this? You don't like mandatory. I don't like mandatory either. But you don't like mandatory? Well, how about this? Your wife agrees that she's not a whore, but also agrees that you never pay child support and get custody of the kids. How about that? If she's so adamant that that's your child, that she's willing to bypass a DNA test, then you get automatic custody. There you go. That's all she has to do, is sign a little government form saying, hey, I'm not a whore. It's his kid. He gets the kid if we break up. Boom. Done.
For a little bit, but then
The man feels icky. I would feel quite icky.
Wait. The woman feels icky for a little bit. Fine, maybe the man feels icky.
Certainly he would. You're calling his wife a whore and him a cuckold.
It prevents men from being put on child support and raising kids that aren't theirs.
You're saying they're
And if
married.
people want to opt out of it, fine, you can opt out.
So it's not mandatory.
But
it's voluntary. But there it is voluntary. Yes.
I think it would be better if it was mandatory. I think that's a better.
So then the men can opt out.
Oh my gosh, what are you? There should be mandatory DNA tests.
Okay, so yeah, now they're just splitting hairs. So fuck all that. Okay, you get the point though. I'm glad I kind of noticed that. That was actually an interesting video. I'm glad we watched that. Okay, so let's speaking of interesting marriages. Salty Sand calls him Pierce Morgan Jr. Yeah, just missing the fucking point. Another British guy. Keep your bullshit over there. Two different. But look, even in Britain, they have whores, right? I mean, again, just because you trust your wife means you get to just ignore statistics about what's going on around you in society and just say, well, there should never be a law. Or I can't let the government call my wife a whore because 90% of whores are around. Well, let's just let them all be whores. It's ridiculous. Okay, so now we're back into interesting marriages. Let's do this. Okay, let me pop up my little thing here. Love does admonish. So yeah, our Love Don't Judge YouTube channel. That's not mine. That's an actual YouTube channel out there called Love Don't Judge. They like to explore unique relationships and the quote online hate they get. And we here at Mild's Culture Plate like to determine should they really be admonished or not. So check this out. This is I married my stepbrother. Love Don't Judge. All right, let's watch this shit.
This is Matilda. She fell in love with her stepbrother, Samali.
We are step siblings and also husband and wife.
The couple first met when their parents got married, and for a long time, their relationship was that of traditional step siblings.
I thought he was kind of annoying.
Matilda was my little sister.
Okay, so back to the earlier chick that was afraid of being fucked zoned, like, because she couldn't friend zone guys. Imagine being sibling zoned and then somehow overcoming that and falling in love with the guy. Like we have now come full fucking circle.
But following one accidental night of passion,
Yeah, it's a
Matilda
regular
and
Pornhub over
Samali
here.
found that they couldn't stay away from each other.
It was weird, wrong, and fun.
And when the couple shared their relationship online, the world was quick to judge.
We have gotten a lot of negative comments. Seek therapy.
Okay, but fucking why? This is why I hate this show. Why? Why would you tell the internet you're fucking your stepbrother? Just say he's my husband. Just say he's my husband. Why do you need to tell the internet that you're fucking your stepbrother?
Disgusting.
Out of all the people in the world, you choose your stepbrother, and it makes me sick. My sister Mina is coming over soon. The relationship kind of felt just a bit creepy.
Wait,
We
there's
met
another
when
sister?
our parents started dating. Our relationship, first it wasn't like a close one. I didn't really like him. I thought he was kind of annoying. I never thought we would end up together.
Matilda was my little sister, if you can say that.
Sister by law.
Yeah. When we first got together.
Yes, this is the entire
was-
point, Cool Frog. That's the entire fucking point. Is these people say they don't want to be judged, but they literally put themselves out there to, it's like I say about slut shaming. If you're dressing provocative means provoke, and you can't determine how other people react.
An accident.
It was like after we had been hanging out the whole night
Yeah.
together.
I think I was asleep first, then I woke up really close to you.
There was definitely a build-up tension in our first kiss, like a lot of tension, like in a good way.
But how?
Yeah, we
There was something.
there
Something
was.
else than
Come on,
siblings.
tell us more.
Don't
We
say
want the
sibling,
deets.
please.
Now,
I thought
again,
it
I'm not trying to get all gross and porny here, but I find it fascinating. Like, how does one go from having these fucking boundaries? Like two people have these boundaries, and then just one night we just got too close, and all of a sudden we just didn't have those boundaries more. Like neither of you was like, "Whoa, hold on, what the fuck?" Like that I think that's what fascinates people, because normal fucking people, one of you would have had, hey, whoa, this is siren going off on my head. Yeah, we can't do this. Bye. Yeah.
Was kind of wrong because it felt so weird and I wasn't expecting it. That's why I pulled Samuel to the balcony and
Well, there we go.
I told him that we are only friends and nothing could ever happen between us.
Yeah, and we could never tell anybody.
Yep, there we go. So
Our
sibling
relationship.
zoned. Okay, so
After
she
our
did.
initial attraction, I tried to.
She initially
avoid
did, but then
those
she gave
thoughts. I wasn't supposed to feel attraction towards you.
I couldn't help it. and so didn't you.
Yeah, it felt very weird at first.
Oh,
I
And
think
we had the same feeling.
yeah, we definitely had the same feeling, but I felt it was a little bit wrong choice to make. My roommate, she saw us when we kissed. She yelled no.
Really loud.
Yeah, really loud and many times like no, no. Like after a few months, I didn't really care, but in the beginning when people were like, oh, you have a boyfriend, how did you meet? And I was like, yeah, he's like my old friend. So I actually lied a couple of times.
All you got to do is say
It was so different
we
situation.
kind of grew up near
I
each other.
kind of felt, I don't want to say embarrassed, but it felt weird. Wondering what would our family think.
Oh God.
I'm Tinia. I'm Matilda's
Mom
mom.
and dad.
I'm Juha.
Oh my
I'm
God, we got
Samuel's
mom
dad.
and dad.
Our parents has been together almost
no.
4 years, I think.
Yeah, 4 years.
I remember that the first time you told me about your feelings was when you called me.
I was, well, not afraid, but thinking about like other people's opinions. Of course, there
I need more
could have
whiskey.
been chance that she would have taken it like differently, but I think you took it very well.
I wasn't completely surprised, but of course I was very happy.
I think it was a very good news for
Mom's
both
got a
us.
thick booty.
It wasn't awkward even in the beginning because we love them both so much, and in our opinion they were a perfect couple.
It wasn't awkward at all. I think.
They're your kids. Of course you're going to think they're perfect.
Indeed.
It was a little bit surprising how serious their relationship did get.
I mean,
and
if
that
you
they
can't
really
trust
wanted
your
to
own
get
son,
married.
who can you
We
trust,
got married
right?
last summer.
I changed my last name, so now we are the Erikssons. I have the same last name with my mom now. Again, yeah. It's kind of weird
Oh,
to think
no.
Samuel's dad is my stepdad and my father-in-law.
But it's fun though.
Yeah, I think it's more fun. I decided to share our story online. I thought that it would be fun.
dear
I
Lord.
think people had really different reactions.
Put it on TikTok.
There's some very mad comments. Point of view, their wedding song was Sweet Home Alabama.
You could have kept this to yourself, babes.
Sorry, but cancelled. They cancelled us. I'm sorry, no. How can your mom consider him as a son and now you marry him? Well, I don't think my mom ever considered you.
Okay, but no, wait a minute. No, okay, so I have, in defense of them on that comment, like, you want your in-laws to think of you as a son, right? Am I wrong about this? It's bad.
To be like her son. If we were siblings by blood, then it would definitely be a taboo. But I don't think our situation is or should be. We met my mother's 50th.
Okay, yeah, there's the whole blood relation thing, and you don't want to reproduce. You don't want to sexually reproduce with blood relatives. But even this, if you've somewhat grown up together, right? If you've went through the adolescent changes with this person in the same household, right? If you were parented together, yeah, you're still on emotional shaky ground. I think there's trauma there.
Yes, birthday party 4 years ago. It's hard to imagine whether we would have got together if we grew up together.
Oh, okay. So I guess they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You would be like more of a brother to me. We get comments like, you're sick, or we should go straight to jail.
Well, shit.
It's kind of brutal because we could have.
I went
met
through
in
this
a
whole
bar
thing
or
thinking they fucking
a
lived in
club.
the same
It's the
house
same
as
thing,
teenagers or something.
almost. It's really hard to take anonymous people seriously. My sister Mina is coming over soon. We're going to talk about our relationship. I'm a bit nervous how that conversation is going to go. Samuel is her stepbrother too. When we told Mina that we are seeing each other, she was a bit doubting about this
Whole situation.
Yeah. When I first heard that Matilda and Samuel are dating, I was just a bit shocked. I did have some concerns. Maybe the relationship felt just a bit creepy first.
Okay, so I gotta say, the longer this is going, the less of a problem I have with this.
Together.
When I first heard, I was a bit shocked. Maybe I was a bit worried that it would cause some tension
is this sister?
between
Is this the
our
sister?
families if they would ever split up.
Yeah.
But you can't plan life like that.
Yeah, we of course understand why you were a little bit concerned. I'm your baby sis. I will always be your baby sister.
And of course, if we would ever break up, that all, of course, it would be a strange situation. Like you said, we can't plan that.
No, because if you ever break up, then you can just date her.
Because I could see that they were really in love. I thought it's cute. I still think it's cute.
What the
You only
fuck?
thought.
Yeah, well, it's also annoying because they're annoying.
Yeah, she can't handle us
What
very
the
long.
fuck?
Like long time in a.
Well, he's still my step bro.
Yeah.
It's like double the trouble.
Yeah.
Our plans for the future is probably buying a house
To travel.
and maybe house.
Okay, so let me clarify. The reason I'm having less and less of a problem with this is because, you know, I've heard of these kind of similar stories where the kids got together first and then the mom and dad then fell in love after the kids were together. And so this is like, to me, this is I mean, yeah, they met through the parents, but this doesn't seem as far from that. I think that kind of shit's mostly innocent. Yeah, if they didn't grow up together, I don't have much of a problem with this. The only fucking problem I have with it is then they go on the internet and brag about it like it's something to be fucking proud of. No, it's just unique. And not everyone needs to fucking go telling the entire world about what's fucking unique about them.
Have some kids someday.
And yes, I'm a hypocrite because I say that as I'm on the internet and I'm always telling you guys fucking weird stories about my life. But ultimately, I fucking hate myself when I do. So understand, I'm not being an entire hypocrite.
Maybe we want to live our own lives before bringing anyone else to it. I think in the past, other people's opinions might have affected us,
Yeah.
but nowadays,
We don't care about those opinions.
I definitely believe someone is my soulmate.
I feel the same way.
So if she was your stepsister, would you hit it? I won't show your chats on the screen. I mean, granted, it'll be in the chat replay for anyone who clicks it, but I won't show your chats in the screen if you want to answer that question. But you don't have to answer it. Just think about it. If that was your stepsister, would you? All right, I'll go ahead and remove that. All right, yeah, we're at 7:15. I think that takes care of the time when I didn't have the video up. So that's going to be our show for today. The bar scene. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be our show for today. If you can, please click that like button below. If you're new here, I haven't seen any new people, but if you're new here, please start chatting in the chat and please click the follow button and watch a second video. Watching second videos really help with the algorithm. I should be live this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central for the next show. Central Time, 6 p.m. American Daylight Savings Time, 6 p.m. Down in the description are links to all my social media, other places where I might be streaming these kinds of things. Please follow me on those if you want updates on if and when I have to cancel a show, reschedule a show, or have a surprise stream like I did Thursday. Until then, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast the haters, even if they're hating on you because you're banging your stepsister. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. Have a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I'll see you Wednesday. Good night.